Nice sounds. A computer makes music in a duet with a young woman in Electric Dreams, the first computer love story. Yes, the computer is in love. Had to happen, I guess. And Electric Dreams is one of 4 new movies we'll be reviewing this week on At the Movies, the movie review program. Joining me in the balcony, Roger Ebert, film critic of the Chicago Sun-Times.
And across the aisle from me is Gene Siskel, film critic of the Chicago Tribune. Now, in addition to Electric Dreams, we're also going to be reviewing The Last Starfighter, a fantasy about video games, and That Sinking Feeling, which is a comedy from Scotland about some kids who decide to steal some kitchen sinks. But Gene starts first with The Neverending Story.
The Neverending Story is sort of a German-made Steven Spielberg adventure film, at least that's what it would like to be, telling the story of a shy, timid little boy and the adventures he has when he begins reading a book called The Neverending Story, in which he ultimately will become the real hero. But in the beginning of his reading of the book, he simply reads about another boy, a young warrior who is trying to save a land called Fantasia from being destroyed by evil forces. Everything looks sort of cheap in this film to me. The ivory tower, they say, and I expect to be dazzled. Instead, I wish I had seen the Magic Kingdom in Disneyland. That doesn't look as good. And that big dog-like dragon looks like some kind of cheap plush toy you might win in a country carnival ring toss game and then toss in the basket when you leave. The Neverending Story, you know, the buttons will fall out of the eyes. The Neverending Story is okay, I guess, in that it is innocent fun, but personally I didn't care for it. I found it much too long. The art direction makes the film look cheap, as I said, and the special effects didn't dazzle this 38-year-old. The little boy reading the book, he was okay as a character, but the young warrior boy, a dullard. I know the film wasn't made for people my age. I still didn't care for it.
How can you say it was much too long? It's only 90 minutes long. What did you want, an hour show?
A bad movie, as we all know, is long in 15 minutes.
And a good movie is not long in an hour and a half. I enjoyed this movie. The special effects didn't look cheesy to me. They had a lot of invention to them. Some of these characters, like the great big rock monster who's going through the
that would, I'd say, is the only character
on his giant steam-rolling tricycle.
Yeah,
and so
that
forth.
was the one character that I thought was cute. The other ones, the little gnomes and the other thing, I thought this is out of a bad grim fairy tale.
I don't agree with you. I thought this was a very good movie. I wouldn't compare it at all to Steven Spielberg as you did. I would compare it more to a movie like this movie that didn't work as well, called The Dark Crystal, where you have all kinds of strange, fantastical creatures, and the whole romantic idea of this little kid's imagination all appealed to me.
Yeah, as bad as I thought The Dark Crystal was, I liked it more than this. This did not do it for me.
Disagreement. Next at the movies, a thriller that claims that video games came from outer space, which is just what I've always expected.
I just love surprises, don't you? Hey, look out!
The movie is named The Last Starfighter, and it's the first movie I've seen that offers an explanation for why millions of those video arcade games seem to appear almost overnight all over the country. And it turns out, according to this movie, that they were placed on Earth by representatives of an intergalactic empire who wanted to locate expert teenage space fighter pilots. Now, if you can break the record on a video game, maybe you're good enough to step up into the big leagues beyond the solar system. And I suppose there are probably some parents of video addicts who would like to see their kids maybe spend a couple of orbits anyway up there. In this scene, a California teenager has broken the record and he's been taken by an alien recruiter to an intergalactic battle headquarters.
Up to your old Excalibur tricks again, eh, Centauri? Did it ever occur to you that it's against the law to recruit from worlds outside the Star League?
Earth's in danger too, isn't it? And no, I did not use the Excalibur test. It was called a video game. But what's all the brouhaha? After all, he does have the gift.
This may come as a bit of a shock to you. But he doesn't want to be a starfighter.
Doesn't want to be a... Are you a coward? Are you crazy?
You didn't tell me about any of this. Return the money, Centauri.
Return the money? Are you delirious? You know how long it took to invent the games, to merchandise them, to get them into the stores by Christmas?
It must be terribly embarrassing for you, and I do sympathize. However...
But I saw him fight. He could be the greatest starfighter ever.
That was a game, Centauri.
A game? You may have thought it was a game, but it was also a test. Aha! A test sent out across the universe to find those with the gift to be starfighters. And here you are, my boy. Here you are.
We got trouble right here in a galactic city. That's right. Robert Preston as the fast-talking man from outer space, and Lance Guest plays the would-be teenage recruit. The kid isn't exactly crazy about becoming a starfighter for a living. He'd rather be back in California on the beach with his girlfriend, but back on Earth, his place has been taken by an exact duplicate robot, and meanwhile, the fate of civilization depends on him. So in this scene, he gets starfighting instructions from a kindly old flight instructor.
There in front of you are the two switches for your heads-up display. Turn them on. While you're engaging the enemy, the screen will reflect all battle instruments towards you.
Hey, where'd it go?
It's still there, suspended in a xenon mist, but it's only visible if you look dead ahead.
Ah, got it.
The lever on your left is the chair controller. As you can see, all guns will track with your every move. Grasp the target control with your right hand. At your fingers is the weaponry. The lasers, photon bolts, and the
particle beams. Hey, wait a minute, this is just like back home. What's this?
Careful, careful! That's Death Blossom, a weapon of last resort. Luckily, I was in here working on it when the hangar went up. Now, are you ready? All systems, go! Ignition!
Wait, when did the hangar go up?
I told you! When's your attack?
And where were the starfighters?
In the hangar!
You mean they're dead?
Death is a primitive concept. I prefer to think of them as battling evil in another dimension.
In another dimension? How many are left?
Including yourself?
Yeah!
One!
Yep, he's it. That's Dan O'Hurley masquerading there behind the lizard makeup as the flight instructor, the old veteran warrior. And the relationship between O'Hurley and his teenage pupil is one of the best things in The Last Starfighter, but the movie is one of those close misses that has some good things in it without ever quite pulling itself together. The video game ideas seem borrowed right out of Walt Disney's Tron, and the battles in space are going to look awfully familiar to anyone who's ever seen Star Wars. In fact, that moving cockpit that helps him to aim his weapons there is right out of the very first Star Wars movie. I liked some of the ideas in The Last Starfighter, but I can't quite recommend the movie.
And I can. I like the idea. The premise, I think, is terrific. You know, that this is training ground for the big show, the big leagues. I also like where it was set in this little trailer park. You know, that the light anoints this little kid, and he's a working class kid. The other kids are out, richer kids are out at the beach, and he gets the big journey. I like the relationship between him and his girlfriend. I like the double. I liked every single thing about the picture. I thought the graphic look was fresh, and I enjoyed it too.
Well, I thought it was just kind of a retread. I just didn't. I liked it a little bit. I don't give it a recommendation, but I don't hate it either. I think it was just not quite there.
This
just not
so
quite
much
aggressive enough,
okay. This is
and
so
tightly
much,
edited enough.
Oh, I thought that was.
Oh, I don't think so.
I think
it was
this
just
is so much more entertaining than the Neverending Story, for example. I think you're giving a pass to the Neverending Story. I still want to fight that battle one more time because it's made for little kids, and so, well, it's good enough for little kids. This film, I think.
I never said Neverending Story was good enough for little kids. I think it's good enough for me, and this isn't good enough for me.
Yeah,
so case closed on those.
Case closed as far as you're concerned.
Yes.
For me.
But don't put words in my mouth.
Okay. The thing that I like is this film, I think, is so much better. It's so much better looking, so much more adult and crisp, and characters that you can
and so
relate
much more
to.
original for anyone who's never seen a Star Wars picture.
Neverending Story is, as you compared it to earlier, is not original either. You know, you compare that to the one with the Dark Crystal.
Yeah.
Coming up next at the movies, the first computer love story starring a jealous computer.
Well, what is it?
A song? It's music with words.
No, love.
That's a hard one.
Film could be a surprise summer smash. It's topical and it is very well made. It's Electric Dreams, the love story featuring a computer as part of a love triangle. That's right. A computer gets jealous when its male owner uses the computer to romance the attractive young woman who lives upstairs. At first, the young mystified computer owner doesn't realize how powerful his machine really is. It can mimic sounds, it's truly intelligent, and once he gets that, he asks the computer to write for him a love song for his girlfriend.
So, do you think you can give me a hand?
Do I have one?
I mean, can you help me?
Well, sure. A love what?
Song. S-O-N...
N-G. I can spell.
Okay, so try it.
Well, what is it?
A song? It's music with words.
No, love.
That's a hard one.
Miles, hurry up, we'll be late.
Oh, I gotta go.
Well, Mose, what words do I need?
Okay,
I need
okay.
Words.
Don't get excited. Use words like, hug and hold, kiss on my lips, tears on her pillow. It doesn't matter, just so they rhyme. And if you finish it today, I can give it to her tonight. Oh, and have a good time.
Yes, sir.
That was Bud Cort as the voice of the computer, and after a false start, the computer does write a love song that provides a music video for us featuring the two young lovers. Nice song. That was Lenny Van Dolen as the computer owner and Virginia Madsen as his upstairs neighbor. You know, there's a saying that if a director casts his movie correctly, he or she is more than halfway home. And that certainly applies to Electric Dreams. Director Steve Barron found a couple of fresh and exciting faces in Lenny Van Dolen and Virginia Madsen. They are attractive as a couple and also as individuals. And of course, the story here is a real winner because, frankly, we want it to be true, especially those of us who are totally mystified by computers. For us, this is a plausible story, exceedingly well told. I really like this film a lot.
I can believe a computer could write a song. I can't believe that I could write it.
Yeah, right.
No, I like the movie, too. I thought it was wonderfully photographed.
Yes.
The way that they find so many different kinds of ways to show computer graphics and
Yes.
computer hardware and so forth. Just in this scene, we saw a little bit of the romanticism of the keyboard, which is hard to describe.
You and I see this because we see so many routine pictures that when we start talking about individual shots, we get excited. And I thought there was a shot. I knew this director was hot when I saw the way he photographed the unwrapping of a plastic wrapper that covered part of the cable for the thing, and then he had an insert shot of the kid taking off his shoes because he was going to work, and I saw that shot, and I said, this is going to be a hot film. And
It's an interesting film, and you know what else it does? It engages you romantically and emotionally, and at the same time, intellectually. Even though you know a computer probably couldn't do all this stuff, nevertheless, the movie carries it each step logically enough that you're carried right along down the garden path with it. It's fun.
Three likable characters, including one with the plastic face. Next at the movies, a comedy from Scotland about a gang of teenagers who decide to steal the kitchen sink.
It's a movie made in '79 by a wonderful Scottish director named Bill Forsyth, who specializes in gentle, goofy little comedies that are about ordinary people in his native Scotland. Two of his movies have already become popular in America, and we like both of them on this program. Gregory's Girl, about a Glasgow teenager whose girlfriend is a better soccer player than he is, and Local Hero, which is about a Scottish town that outsmarts an international oil company. But only now, though, are we seeing Forsyth's first movie, That Sinking Feeling, which begins with scenes like the ones we're about to see, showing some unemployed Glasgow teenagers who become experts at idle speculation.
Did you have a good day?
Yeah, very, very enjoyable.
Me too. In the park mostly.
Miserable, eh?
Yeah. I tried to kill myself today. Just after you left, Wall, I took a mouthful of cornflakes and milk and held my nose shut. I tried to drown myself in cornflakes and milk.
There's got to be something more to life than committing suicide.
There's got to be something. There's got to be some way out.
There's a nice little sight gag there just a little bit later when we find out that they're not sitting in a parked car. They're sitting in a wrecked car that's all by itself in the middle of an empty lot. It's better than standing out in the rain.
It's a good gag because they're not upwardly mobile. They're not even forwardly mobile. Those kids are rotted in the ground. Yeah.
Later in the movie, they come up with something to do in order to bring a little variety into their lives. One of the guys notices that stainless steel sinks are selling for 60 pounds each in the downtown stores. So why not steal a warehouse full of sinks? The movie develops into a funny, low-key caper film as these amateur thieves bungle their way into the heist. And there are times when almost everyone seems to get into the act.
We're all going to be rich. You finished with this roll here? Big, big money. Capital for anything you want. I'm going to make you rich. Come on. Really rich,
2 coffees and a roll and sausage, wasn't it?
Yeah.
37 pence, please.
I wonder if you could take care of the coffees. Look, I've left my wallet in my other jacket pocket. Honest, I'll square you up later. I'm sorry. You're a screwball. Big money, eh? Lots of capital. Do what you want. You can't even buy me a coffee. I'm sorry. How do you expect me to do a robbery? A robbery? You can't even buy me a cup of coffee. That's what we're doing it for. We've no money just now.
You can't do a robbery without money, can you?
I think you get the feeling there for That Sinking Feeling, which has a lot of gags in it, but they're low-key gags involving a lot of likable characters who have a lot of time on their hands and a lot of time to sit around and make little plays with words and little puns and little idle speculations and to come up with this cockeyed scheme. A lot of recent American comedies have been very aggressive, attacking the audience with their laughs, but That Sinking Feeling is more seductive. We laugh because we get to know these guys, we start to see things their way, and it's kind of fun.
It is seductive because you're sitting there and you realize all of a sudden these guys have nothing to do. And there is a reality to the characters. What they do may be outrageous. I mean, I suppose it's hard to believe people would actually think that 8 stainless steel sinks apiece is going to, be their ticket to heaven. But emotionally, it's very true because there have got to be a lot of kids in towns like that that are bored out of their minds, have no job and nothing to do.
You know who these guys reminded me of, and I hope that you'll take this in the right way because I like the film so much. They're kind of sweet, gentle, goofy, Scottish Bowery Boys. Remember the Bowery Boys hanging around on the soda fountain? Hey, I've got this great idea. We're all going to get rich. And then some of the sight gags, like when they give the bakery truck driver, they need a bakery truck to steal the sinks, so they give the guy a sleeping potion, and he's paralyzed there with his cup of tea, and they say he's going to wake up in the year 2088. That's right out of the Bowery Boys, and it's a little treasure of a movie.
It's a cute little thing. Now we better recap our reactions to the films on this show. We split on The Neverending Story. Roger thought it was fresh and inventive. I found it ugly and sloppily made and full of uninteresting characters. And we split again, but not so severely, on The Last Starfighter. Roger found it only mildly entertaining. I bought the whole thing. A familiar story, freshly told. We then agreed on the computer love story, Electric Dreams. We really liked that. And we also liked That Sinking Feeling, the Scottish comedy. And Electric Dreams is the one I'd send people to the first.
Yeah, and I'd have them look for That Sinking Feeling, which is playing here and there around the country. So much for this week. Next week on At the Movies, a look at Purple Rain, a combination concert film and backstage musical starring the rock star Prince. And that's next week. Until then, we'll see you at the movies.
Thank you.